Hello to every student. Today's video, we will be learning about the class 10 chapter of acid, base and salt. So, in today's class, we will be covering the basic introduction to acid, bases, some common examples of natural acid, and we'll talk about alkalis. Okay, so up to eighth grade or ninth grade, we studied that acid are substances that are sour in taste and they turn blue litmus red. But now we'll study a different definition for acid. We'll see acids as a complete new thing. So, what are acids now? For now on, we will say acids are substances that produce hydrogen ions, which are basically H plus ion when dissolved in water. So when you dissolve acid in water, it will release H plus ion. So such substances that release H plus ion in dissolving in water are called acid. So now the property on which we were defining acid earlier is now a property for acid. It's one of the property of acid. So acids are sour in taste. And second property is they turn blue litmus red. So litmus is a purple substance that we obtain from lichens. So it is an indicator. Indicator is substance which will change color when they are dipped in acid or bases. So if litmus is used, it will turn, if we use a blue litmus, right? So it will turn red when it is dipped in acid. And acid can conduct electricity. We'll see how acid conduct electricity in our next upcoming lectures. But for now, you remember that acid also conduct electricity when they are in aqueous solution. So what is aqueous solution? When acid is dissolved in water, such solution is called aqueous solution, right? And they react with metal to produce. This is also a property of acid, which we'll talk about in detail. And then we'll talk about base. So these are some common properties for acid. Now, some common examples of acid is hydrochloric acid, HCl, sulfuric acid, which is H2SO4, nitric acid, HNO3, and acetic acid. Now, same we'll study about bases. So, what are bases? Bases are substances that produce hydroxide ion when dissolved in water. So, like acid were producing H plus ion, bases are substances that produce hydroxide ion. So bases are bitter in taste. They feel soapy and slippery. And now the important point. How acid was turning blue litmus red. In the same way, bases will turn red litmus blue. So if I have to check a substance whether it is acidic or basic, can use a litmus paper. In case of acid, it will turn blue to red, and in case of base, it will turn from red to blue. Now, there are some examples of bases also, like NaOH, potassium hydroxide, sodium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide, magnesium hydroxide. Now, if bases, what are alkali? Now, if base is dissolved in water, then if it shows solubility, like it is completely soluble in water, then such bases are called alkali. The bases which dissolve in water are called alkali, like sodium hydroxide, NaOH is a base which dissolve in water. Same, I have this base, potassium hydroxide, which dissolve in water, and calcium hydroxide, which also dissolves in water. Remember, every alkali is a base, but not every base is an alkali. So only those bases which can dissolve in water are called alkali. But those bases which cannot dissolve in water are not called alkali. Okay? So I have given here some common examples of acid like citric acid, which is found as like these are natural acid which are found in natural substances like citric acid is found in lemon, acetic acid is found in vinegar, lactic acid is found in a curd and yogurt, tartaric acid in tamarind and grapes, and then we had ascorbic acid present in our amla, orange and grapes, carbonic acid in our soft drinks, and formic acid which is present in our ant sting and bee sting. So you remember when you get stung by a bee or ant, you feel irritation. It is because they have formic acid in their sting, right? And now we'll see why acids show acidic property. So what actually happened? I said that acid produce H plus ion. That is the reason behind its acidic property. So how it produce? See, when HCl is dissolved in water, it dissociates, it breaks to produce H plus and Cl negative ion, right? So this H plus ion is what is responsible for its acidic behavior. But see, there is a line that which says that dry HCl does not show acidic properties. Why? Because acid only show acidic property, or acid and bases will show their properties only when they are dissolved in water. Because water is the medium. Water is the medium in which H plus ions are produced, and without water there will be no production of H plus ions. So that's why dry HCl doesn't show acidic property. Only when acid HCl is dissolved in water, it's so acidic property because it gets dissociated in water. It breaks in water to produce H plus ion. Same for the bases. See here, NaOH, sodium hydroxide, is the base which give Na plus and OH negative ions in water. So the OH negative ions are the reason behind the basic nature of the bases. Okay. So with today we learned about get an introduction about acidic and bases, and in the next class we'll be learning about some strong acids, strong bases, weak acid and weak bases. So till then keep learning, keep exploring.